Good morning again, people. I hope you've got a nice cup of coffee in front of you. Look forward to my morning coffee. All right, it's going to be a beautiful day. I mentioned 91, but I've got a few hours here. And last time we spoke, I was showing you the LTVAs. I hope I did a good job with that, driving around showing you what to expect and what you get for your money and what's going on here. But now I want to talk about the free land. This is a big appeal here is the free land, and there's tons and tons of BLM land here that there is no fee. It's 14-day free camping. Of course, it's all dry camping. You just go out in the desert, and it's not as crowded. It's not as concentrated as these long-term visitor areas because you got to move. You're supposed to move every 14 days. On and on. We're going to go around and we're going to see there are 5 areas around Quartzsite, 5 designated BLM 14-day stay camping areas that are very popular, and people stay there. They're north, south, east, and west of town. Let's go see those free 14-day stay areas here in Quartzsite where people gather, and I'll give you the scoop on each one as we go there, all right? Okay, come along with me. Let's go. Okay, everybody, to start this little tour of free BLM camping areas in Quartzsite, to start the tour out, I thought I'd come down the highway a little bit and give you a look of what you're going to see as you're approaching Quartzsite. Now, this is coming from Phoenix, coming from the east, going west. I came down to Gold Nugget Road. I'm just a few miles out of Quartzsite, but I wanted to do this to illustrate what you're going to see when you're coming into town. If I start off in the middle of town, you have no point of reference if you've never been here before. So let's assume that you've never been to Quartzsite. You're coming here and you want to camp for free. Maybe you're coming to the RTR in January for the first time. So you're heading down Highway 10, Interstate 10 from Phoenix to Los Angeles. So we're really heading for the California border here. Heading to Blythe, if you will. And off in the distance, if you see a lot of buildings, that's Quartzsite right there. All right, everyone, now we're approaching Quartzsite here. We're still on Interstate 10 going westbound, and there are 2 exits for Quartzsite. This first exit, if you're coming from the east, is the best one to take. If you're coming from the west, it'll be the second exit. That's the same one. Exit 19 is not as busy as the one on the other end of town. And in the peak of the season, it's too much traffic. You don't want to do that. But you're going to get off here. There's a big ARCO sign. It tells you the fuel cost, $3.49 diesel, $2.84 for gas. And we're going to get off here and proceed to find our very first free camping area now. So let's just assume you're coming to Quartzsite for the first time. You're very excited. Look at this. We're finally here in Quartzsite. Who knows where you came from? You're either living in your vehicle or trying to live in your vehicle because you want to, it sounds exciting, or you're on Social Security and you just can't pay your rent any longer. You're being forced into this situation. So you've got yourself, I hope, a reliable or semi-reliable vehicle, and you're gonna come to Quartzsite and figure this out. Now, you could go right to the LTVA and pay a fee and you're good to go. But if you've never been here before, you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what to expect. Because there's so much free camping here, I highly recommend that you spend the first few nights at least on the free camping land while you move around Quartzsite and figure it out. Get the lay of the land, see if you can figure out what you need, what you don't need, and where you are, and that can help you make decisions like whether I want to spend $180 to stay at the LTVA and which LTVA do I want to stay at. This way you can cruise through, you can check them out. But so you saw we went south. We made a left-hand turn after we got off the freeway. We're coming across here, and now you can see this is Quartzsite. We've got a lot of mobile home parks in Quartzsite for the people that do live here year-round, and some people just come for the winter, but they've got a spot in a park, so they have electric, they have water, they have all the goodies. There are lots of mobile home parks in this town. If you want to come out here and you've got one of those rigs and you can afford it, you can stay the winter in a mobile home park. You can have full electric, water, sewer, very convenient. Not too expensive, but for someone like me, yeah, too expensive. Okay, now we're here on Kewen Street. Kewen Street's a main street. You're going to get to know that name, but Kewen Street, we're going to go left again. We're going to go south. So we're going back in the direction that we just came on the freeway. You see we've got a Mormon temple here. Very nice. And now we're heading out into the desert on Kuhn Street. You see rigs here. People like this because it's very close to town. This is all free. I could just take a right into the desert. And now we're going to turn down this way, and this is the first area that I'm going to show you of the 5 designated free 14-day BLM camping areas. And this road is going to deteriorate very quickly. Nobody maintains this road out here. So that'll be a little bit of a challenge. But you can see we've got some people out here, and not very many yet, but this will fill up. It'll fill up because it's very close to town. Kuhn Street is the main street when you're doing the shopping and all the big tent and all that stuff. Let's turn off here. Here we go. So the road ends here. No more maintenance on this terrible road. And we are coming up to Scatteren Wash. 14-day area, Scatteren Wash. Bureau of Land Management, all right? And I'm only turning in here because we've got a storyboard. Let's take a look at the storyboard and see what they say about Scatteren Wash. This is our very first 14-day free camping area that I'm showing you. Okay, let's walk over here to this board, this storyboard, and see what the rules are. Rules are going to be the same for all of these areas, so we don't have to do this every time we stop. 14-day rules. All right, blah, blah, blah. Limited to 14 days in a 28-day period, so 2 weeks a month. No exceptions, they says. Let's see here. If you want to move, you've got to move at that point, 14 days, we've talked about it. You've got to go 25 miles. If you're following the rules, 25 miles, and you can plant yourself for 14 more days. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Black and gray water, dumping of black and or gray, not permitted, obviously. Trash, pack out all of your garbage, obviously. You can't put trash on the ground. Firewood, no wood collection is permitted. This is true everywhere in the desert. All right, don't do that. Pets must be kept on a leash at all times. And pet owners are responsible for cleaning up after their pets. And of course, firearms, no discharging firearms. That, again, should be obvious. When there's people around, you don't want to be firing guns. The bullet can kill somebody a mile away. You won't even know. All right, sorry. It's just amazed what you have to tell people. Okay, so now over here, let's flip this around again. And here is La Posa Camping Opportunities. Let me see, I have to change glasses maybe, and I can see this better. The sun's killing me. All right. So, Scatteren Wash. Here's where we are. Here's the town of Quartzsite. Am I anywhere in the picture? Scatteren. Here's our first stop. I'm going to show you a little bit. We're going to drive around in here just to give you a feel for it. And then we're going to get out of here, and we're going to go to the next one. I think we'll go to Dome Rock next. Remember, that's so Scatteren Wash, Dome Rock. So we're at the far eastern section here, east of town. We're going to go to the far west of town next. Keep that in mind. This is the area we're exploring here. We've got one down here, Roadrunner. We'll see that after Dome Rock. Then we'll come up here and see High Jolly, one of the most popular ones. And finally, we'll end up on Plomosa Road. All right? Ready for a fabulous tour of free camping? Yeah, let's jump in the truck. This is right on the highway. You can camp right here if you want to. You can see we've got someone right there camping. We got somebody going by very slowly on the frontage. But in the peak season, all of this empty dirt here will be filled with rigs. People, you don't see much going on, but you see these little roads heading in here? Yeah, you just take off, and you can go all the way back, I believe, practically to the mountains back there. I'm not sure how big this is, but it's big. It's big. Back in the old days, before Bob Wells and the RTR got too big, well, the reason that they're in the park right now is because it did get too big. They were out here. I think the very last RTR that was a raw, camp together, learn together RTR was out here at Scatteren Wash. And that had to be 5-6 years ago at least. Okay, let's move on. Okay, everyone. I'm not going to drive too deep into this area. That would take us too long. I just want to show you here. I came in a little bit. There are more people here this early in the season than I've seen before. This is only October, and we got folks here. So there's the freeway right there. I'm not very far off the freeway. The beauty of this is you can go deep if you want to get by yourself. If you want to kind of go off by yourself, you can follow that frontage road for at least a mile and maybe further before you even go south and head into this area, but you can go way back in there. Anyway, so that's Scatteren Wash. I'm going to get back on the road, and we're going to go to Dome Rock, all right? All right, guys. having audio problems, but here we are. I'm on Kuhn Street, and we're crossing Central Boulevard, and here is the action. Kuhn Street is where all the vending goes on. All this out here is all going to be tents and vending. And in here, it's already going on. It's already started, but this is nothing compared to what you're going to see in a month. Now, the center of everything really is the Tyson Wells game store, which is right here. This copper roof building is the game store, and that is the center of life here in Tyson Wells. Now, here is Tyson Wash. We're driving through it. When it rains hard, this runs, and they close this road because this is a wash, and water comes running down from that direction. A lot of water. Oh, golly. But when it's not wet, like right now, everybody drives their side-by-sides in there. It's quite fun. And that's going to be parking for the big tent. When that happens, we'll cover that in a few months. All right, let me see if I can get my audio problem fixed. We're going to come up on this Loves here. We're going to go through the intersection, and we're going to stay on this road. Now, this road is eventually called Dome Rock Road. I don't know when it makes the switch. So here we go. Now we're on Dome Rock Road going west. Dome Rock Road going west. We're on the south side of the freeway, and this will be the very first camping area you come to if you're coming from the west. If you're coming out of the Los Angeles area and you're coming from the west, you can get off on Dome Rock Road down here off the freeway and go right to this area and camp. That's nice if you're coming in late and you're losing your sunlight and you need to find a place to camp right now and you're coming in from the west going east. Yeah, get off on Dome Rock. You'll be able to find a place to stay quickly and easily, a place to camp for the night, and then you can wake up in the morning and figure it out. Okay, everyone, I've come all the way out to the west end of Dome Rock Road. I wanted to show you Dome Rock. This is a very popular place to camp, and it's huge. And we're going to see that. I'm going to have to put the drone up to give you a look, but let me show you what I've got here. I've never been here before. This is my first time actually setting foot. Drive by it all the time, heard lots of stories, a lot of partying going on out here in the peak season. But let's look around. The sun is still not in the ideal location. But here's a fire pit that's here. People obviously camp right here. There's another fire pit there. This would be all covered with people. But you can see up on the mountain, and that mountain with that dome rock on the top, yeah, that's Dome Rock. That's what they've named the area after, that right there. And you can see people camped all up in there. And of course, as the season progresses, this is still October, it's going to get obviously crowded. And all the area I'm showing you now where you don't see any campers at all, this is all camping. This is all the area that you can camp all the way practically to that first set of mountains right there. Now we've got the freeway off to the north here, and the freeway's not far away. There is a little bit of highway noise. You can see the big rigs going by right there. And they're going west. That's westbound. I'm looking northwest, and I'm looking west. So if you're coming in from LA, there's an exit right up there, Dome Rock Road. You can get off, and Dome Rock Road just gets off the freeway and comes down here, and you can find a place to camp. So if you're running out of time, don't know where to camp, you can just pull off anywhere here and camp for the night and then figure out your situation tomorrow. There's a big wash that divides this in half, and you can't cross it with what I'm driving. So there's a separate road to get on that half of this camping area. We'll go there. Now let's turn right here and hope that I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is, I don't know. So I'm getting off of Dome Rock Road and going on Choa Road. Okay, I thought it was called North Dome Rock. It's not. Dome Rock Mountain, 14 days. So you just head off that way. I missed the turn. You can head off that way. Oh, there's people camped out here. How wonderful. And you can head off this way. It's the same situation. All of these little cutoffs, you just take off into the desert, pick a spot you like, and camp. And all of these places that you camp, whether you're talking LTVA or you're talking free 14-day, all of the campgrounds have easy in and out to Quartzsite. You don't have to go left and right and north and south. You don't need a GPS. You get on one road, whatever road you're on, it's going to take you right into town. And that's in every single case. And that's nice, because you don't know your way around yet. You're just coming to town. Okay, we're back at the Loves. And now I'm going to go left. I'm just going to go through. I want to show you guys, if you're not familiar with Quartzsite, give you the lay of the land. Here we are at Loves. This is the intersection. This is the busy exit off the freeway. This is the one we don't recommend during peak season. But hey, you know, you do you. You can see it's a very narrow old bridge. It's a tiny little intersection. And when you get all those trucks and all those RVs, all those people, it's kind of a bottleneck here because this guy wants to come on, other people want to go off. Everybody's waiting, but here we go. Now we've crossed the freeway. We're on the north side. I'm going to go right. You can go straight up there. There's shopping and a brand new Terrible's gas station. There's an electric charging station back there if you got an electric car. We've got a Carl's Jr. off to the left that I didn't show you very well. There's an electric charging station next to Carl's. Here is the Quartzsite sign everybody loves. Well, one of them. There's one on every entrance. And here we go. This is Main Street. Here we go. We're going down, and we've got all kinds of vendors and stores. We've got a restaurant here. Mountain Quail Cafe is excellent for breakfast and lunch right there. McDonald's, of course, if you just have to torture yourself. Pilot Gas. And we've already got RVs, and more RVs, and we're not even in the season yet. It does get quite interesting down here. You know, we've got all kinds of vendors. There's jewelry and silver. Outback Pizza is popular. That's there on the north side of the road. The Bar and Grill, the Yacht Club, Quartzsite Yacht Club on the left. That hasn't opened yet, but it probably will. Every year they open, and they're very popular. What else we got? Here's K&B Tools. KB Tools is back in there. And there's Woodstock Firewood. That's where I go to get my wood when I'm buying wood. There's a Chinese restaurant there that's popular at the Stagecoach Motel. Here's Big Market. I've been in there a few times. They've also got a water dispensing machine, which I should be stopping at right now, but we're not. To get my drinking water. Now, there's a lot of RV parks I mentioned here. Some are high-end, some not so much. A lot of history here. Here's the 88 Shades RV Park. We got Hassler's across the street on the left. That's a popular one because it's priced right. And here is the Holiday Palms. I think this is like the fanciest one. They have pickleball courts. Everybody's jammed in there. Everybody loves Holiday Palms. I have no idea what they charge. We're going over Tyson Wash now. That is, of course, roaring like a river under us whenever there's a heavy rain, usually monsoon. And Silly Al's Pizza. There's Silly Al's. You've heard about it. That's the famous Silly Al's Pizza. It's my favorite pizza. You can't even get in there during the season. The line is around the building all day. That's how popular it is. Okay, so that's most of the downtown area. There's more straight ahead, but first we've got to go find another 14-day free camping area. And this time we're going to go south on the 95 here, Highway 95, which is also Central Boulevard. So here we go. We're going over the overpass on Central, and that's where the big tent's going to be. There's our big shopping extravaganza area right there. Literally, you know, 250,000 people be milling around in there at any given time. Right there on Kuhn Street. We just came through this intersection earlier. Kuhn Street, all right? So now we're heading south on 95, out of town. The big tent's going to be right here. Right here, big RV show right here. And the first LTVA is right here. People love to camp right here because they can just walk to all the shopping and all the fun stuff. And as you can see, there's lots of people here already. This is October. Yeah. And this should be called La Posa West, I believe. La Posa West is right here. Long-term visitor area. We're not talking about that today. Yeah, and of course over here is La Posa North, but again, we're not talking about those today. We're talking about free camping, free 14-day camping. So we're going to drive right past all this pay camping. The LTVAs are right here. They're stacked, one on each side of the road. After we drive for about 2 miles, there's 2 more on each side of the road. And then We're going to find the Roadrunner. Oh, this road also goes to La Paz Valley. Clearly. La Paz Valley. Okay, so we're going to turn on this La Paz Valley road. There's no indication there's any BLM camping yet. And it's called 53rd North. 53rd Street North. Interesting. La Paz Valley Road. And right away, free camping area number 3. All right? This is south of town. People like it. It's a little more quiet out here. So there's your sign, right? And normally the camp host will be right around here. But no camp host right now. And again, don't let that worry you. Just come out here and you camp. 14-day limit. Yeah, the host is right there when and if the host ever shows up. This year's a little bit interesting. This person's got, you know, a good setup here. Minivan setup, looking good. You see a lot of minivans out here. A lot of senior ladies are living in minivans and doing a really good job. And if you guys are curious, if you senior ladies are being forced into this and you're terrified about doing it, if you haven't found her yet on YouTube, go find Minivan Lee. All right, she's a wonderfully eccentric and positive old gal. I can say old. I think I'm a little bit older than she is, but not much. But she's been living in her minivan for 8 years, and she just makes it very simple. She's happy, and she'll tell you how to do it if you're curious. Take what you want, leave what you want. You know, nobody is an expert and has all the answers. Watch Minivan Lee, all you senior ladies that are thinking about living in a minivan. She's an urban camper. She doesn't really enjoy this Quartzsite scene. She's currently in Tucson. She's going to spend the winter in Tucson. She likes to go to coffee shops and go to the gym and hang out in parks. I want to get as far from the city as I possibly can. I would never want to do that. And I don't have a rig that would even blend in, obviously. Her minivan looks like any other minivan. No one knows she's living in it. Anyway, check her out. But this is what this place looks like, Roadrunner. It's wonderful. Way out here. The ham radio operators are going to set up shop out here. This will be filled with RVs. You won't even recognize it. Filled. So Schultz, are you watching? You coming out for the, you and your dad coming for the ham radio week? Okay, everyone. I've driven back into Roadrunner a little bit here. I have no idea where I am, just driving the dirt roads. And so I'll show you what I've got going on. Again, there's not, you know, there's nobody out here, so it's going to be a whole different experience soon. But this is where you can camp. This is an example of free 14-day camping. Let me get you seeing what we can see. But like right here, I pulled up right here. You can camp right here. This could be your spot. The ground is nice. Look, it's nice. Smooth rocks for the most part. It's clean. People haven't left a bunch of trash out here. I think that's awesome. A lot of rock art and fire rings. When you see those circles, that's where somebody had a campfire. So there was a rig there, there was a rig there, there was a rig right there. People are fairly close together out here when the season gets big. But look at this beautiful, I got saguaro cactus right here next to me. That's a little wash. When it rains, water runs there. Wherever there's growth, you know, that's where the water runs. Just don't park in there. And there's a lot of growth out there. Look how green it is. And you get some great mountain scenery here. See, between myself and the mountains is just greenery. Oops, where's that sun? It's got to be in your face. Roadrunner. All right, so we checked 3 off our list, haven't we? Now we're going to get back on Highway 95 and go north. We got 2 to go, guys. Are you having fun yet? Stay with me. Okay, everybody, a point of reference. Here's Kuhn Street. We're going north, all right, going back over the bridge. We came out of Roadrunner, right? And I was wrong about Roadrunner 7 miles south of town. 7 miles, so that's nice. That people like it, I think, because it's so separated from all the action and the chaos. And it's beautiful out there. Beautiful views. 7 miles south to the Roadrunner. Now we're going to go north. There are 2 left to see. The next one's going to be the most popular. I wanted you to see the town, so you'll have a point of reference. When you're here for the first time, you might recognize these landmarks and you won't feel lost. Here's Main Street. Main Street and Central Boulevard, right here. Oh, here's the RV pit stop. I come here. You can get everything done here. You can dump your tanks, you can fill with water, fill your propane, a one-stop shop, and they move it all through very efficiently. And we're going to come up on some state trust land. I wanted to tell you guys about the state trust land. I'll roll my window down. Hopefully we don't get too much noise because I got to show you some stuff. Here's Quail Run RV Park right here. Quail Run RV Park, going back in there. What else we got cooking? RV Solar is right here. There's a lot of solar installation places in town. Good place to come for solar. Here's the Split Rail RV Park, and you can rent side-by-sides there if you want to just rent one for some hours or a day. And now we're heading out of town. Again, we're on north on the 95, and out here on the west side of the road, this is all state trust land. You can stay there for free, 14-day state trust land. You need a state permit, though. You have to apply for that online, get the state trust land permit, and then you can stay. No permit, no go. We got cell towers right here. So the cell service is excellent out here. Oh, also the transfer station. Yeah, refuse transfer station. Sorry, neglected my duties. This is very important. Right out here, windows up, ruining my shot. Right out there was the transfer station, okay? That is where you go to throw your trash away, and it's free. So if you're staying out here, it makes it really convenient. There's absolutely no excuse for leaving trash on the ground because you're driving right by the transfer station and it's free. You just drive up to some big dumpsters there, throw in your trash, drive away. Free. Dispose of your trash. Now here we're coming up on High Jolly. High Jolly BLM off to the east here, off to the right. We're going to turn in and I'm going to show it to you. This is probably the most popular one because it's the closest. Scatteren Wash is pretty close. But this is right under a cell tower for excellent service, and you drive right by the transfer station, get rid of your trash every time you need to go to town for something. So this one's really popular. This is also the one that's the smallest, I think, of all of them. This way. So there's our host. Host is off duty. So if the host is off duty, it says off. You don't need to bother the host. Just go find a place to camp. And I believe because, again, government shutdown, even though the host is here, I don't think the host is working. I think they need some, some instruction from above, and they're not getting it. So everybody's just waiting, and it's not a big deal. Nobody needs to stress. Just come on in and find a spot to camp. I like being on the wash, as I've discussed before, like this gentleman over here, or lady, I don't know who that is. People camping on the wash, and people just camping, out in the open. But this is High Jolly, very popular. This is really going to fill up, and it goes way back in here. So if you want to be by yourself, to a certain extent, keep driving, get back in here. Look at that vintage Airstream, if in fact that's what it is. That is awesome. Don't see those every day. You see a lot of tent campers, a lot of van lifers, a lot of people camping out of their SUVs. It doesn't matter. People pulling little cargo trailers, and you can sleep in those cargo trailers. Very innovative ways to live on the road and be comfortable. Again, here's High Jolly. We're going to turn around because it just keeps going back here. Let me see if I can show you guys like this. It just goes back there. Goes back there. I don't want to go all the way back there. A lot of tent camping back here. But I like the washes. I like that they've got some washes, you know. I like to camp on the wash. Some people like to camp out in the middle, but I like the wash. So we're going to flip this around, go back to the Highway 95, and head north just a little bit further to the final of the fifth and final free BLM camping area here in Quartzsite. Okay, everybody, we're coming across this bridge here, going north on 95, and here's the sign, Plomosa Road, Bouse Community Park. This road, Plomosa Road, if you stay on it, goes all the way to a little town, Bouse. That's another interesting place to go. Fun spot. Hopefully we're going to check that out later this season. A lot of things to see on the way to Bouse. And you can camp. There's free camping all around that town too. It's pretty fun. So here we go. We're on Plomosa Road, got across the cattle guard, and I'm just going to show you right here. Free camping, there's the sign, Plomosa Road. And normally, here's the host. You check in with the host. Right now, as you know, we're not doing that. No checking in. But so, yeah, let me show you what we got here. This, I should have shown you the map. I wonder, is the map even up? Anyway, this continues. This for a few miles up the road here, you can camp on the north and the south side of the road. Now, this is my favorite spot. I like it out here. First of all, because when you're this far out from town, the crowds are lower. People want to be close to the action. So the further away you get, like this in Roadrunner, the crowds thin out a little bit. But also, there's elevation here. We've been slowly gaining altitude ever since we left Quartzsite. We're climbing out of that area. So when you camp up here, and I always camp on the north side of the road, I think I'll go show you. At night, you can see the lights of Quartzsite, below, down in the distance, 7 miles away. And it's completely quiet. The stars are out. I'll have a campfire. It's beautiful out here. Anyway, enough of that. Don't tell anyone, though. Don't want it to get all crowded. Now, a lot of people love Plomosa Road. It's not a secret. So we're going to drive out here, and then I'm going to eventually turn. I don't have really a system. I usually come in about a mile. I think sometimes I've come in 2 miles. But I'll eventually get off this road, obviously, because if you stay on it, you'll end up in Baus. And this place is popular. There's lots of groups get together out here. Van aid usually happens out here. People helping each other build their vans, fix their vans, install solar on their vans. Van aid, that happens out here. I think the escapees have been out here multiple times. A lot of clubs come out here and get together in a big giant group. It's pretty fun. Here's some kind of a sign. That's a nice flat area. All right, the Dream Catchers. The Dream Chasers, sorry. The Dream Chaser, that's a group and a rally. Here's a place I can turn in. Let's turn in here. But anyway, Dream Chasers, they've already got the sign up. Look at a red rock. I wonder what that means. Ooh, a sign. A secret sign, red rock. Turn at the red rock. But here we go. Now I think there's not enough wind. Let's see, here's a wash. And we're gonna cross washes is what we're gonna do. When these are running with water, probably not a good idea. But yeah, people will camp right here, and you're close to the road. You see these fire rings, the people have built fires. But out here, where it's wide open right now, this will be all campers in December and January. People camping in here. What I like to do, I like to come in here, and any place that's like this, I would do the same routine. I want to get off the main road instead of being right next to it, that convenience thing. Because I like to come back in here, and I'm going to spend my 14 days. So I'm going to bring a lot of supplies. I'm going to set up my camp. So I want to get as far off the road as I can. And I want to be as far from people, not that I'm antisocial, but if I can have 100 yards between myself and the next guy, that's good. I like that. 50 yards? Okay, I'll take that too. Closer than that, then I start thinking, I came all the way out here to get away from people. But anyway, I bring my stuff. I don't go back and forth. I don't go into town every day. But I do accumulate trash. So probably at least every 3 days, I'm going to go dump that trash. And I might want to go buy some wood. I might want to get some water. I'll come up with a reason I need to go to town other than trash. But 3 or 4 days at a time, and then I go into town to get something, and then I'm back out. Now here I'm crossing another wash. So I'm getting deeper and deeper off the road and further. People don't like to cross these, and like this one, do you see I'm shaking and rocking and rolling? If I had a great big rig, that might be kind of hard to get across that wash. Might be. But then I always say that, and then there's some guy with a fifth wheel that just did it. It's hilarious. It's whatever you can do, right? But now we're getting, let me show you, now we're getting back in here. See, there's nobody out here. I really like this, but there's nobody out here. Now, there will be people out here come season. But what happens is we get to a certain point, I'm going to keep crossing washes, and you can't camp out here anymore. We're going to get to a boundary, and it's going to say day use only. They don't want you to just camp out here forever. Hypothetically speaking, if I was camping, I might decide I like to camp right here. All right, so I've crossed all the washes they'll let me cross. I can go deeper, but it's day use only. Keep that in mind. If I want to ride my side-by-side, if I want to hike, if I want to do any of that stuff, that's day use. That's fine. You just can't camp out here when you get past a certain point. I like it that they protect the ground. Okay, hang on a second. I'm going to change batteries. Be right back. All right, sorry about that. Dead battery always slows things down. So here we are, again, Plomosa Road. I've crossed all the washes they'll let me cross. And now beyond this, behind me here, out in the middle of nowhere, where am I doing? How's that? That's all day use. I can hike out there, bike out there, do whatever I want. I just can't camp out there. If I had a side-by-side or a dirt bike, my electric bike, I can take out there. So I'm camped, you know, this is it. And so there's also not going to be neighbors on the other side of this wash camping, you know, so that boundary's clean. Look at the beautiful mountains I've got out here for a view. And then, of course, pretend my camper's right here, where it's been something like this in the years past. And then I can take off out there hiking for miles and be all by myself. It's really wonderful. So, and look at the ground, the surface here, it's all these nice rocks. This is clean. When it rains, it doesn't get muddy because it's sandy, you know, it's really a nice situation out here on Plomosa Road. I'm sure that the ground is the same at Roadrunner. I've just been out here, so I didn't focus on that when I was looking. Anyway, down here is where the town is. You can't really see, and you can see where those mountains kind of curve down, but at night, that's all lit up. That's the city lights down there. And it's really nice to sit in my chair with my little fire in front of me, like maybe this fire ring here. And I've got nothing but clouds and I mean stars in the sky. If it's a full moon, you can walk around out here and it's like it's daytime. You cast a big shadow. It's fun. I love the desert camping. Full moon in the desert. You just wander around out here and you don't even need a flashlight. It's really weird. Anyway, there you go, guys. So we've seen 7 places you can come out here and camp absolutely free. Absolutely free. This is it. So you don't have to pay. And if you're thinking about paying, I would come and camp out here the first night or 2 while you drive around and figure out what you're going to do. Why spend the money? Be sure you're good to go. All right. I hope you liked that little tour of the free camping areas here in and around Quartzsite. Now there's more free camping, of course. You don't have to go to these designated free areas. In fact, and I can show you some of those later. I'm not going to do it today. This is the main focus. This is where people want to know. You know, you drive by, you've got your trash. The town is right there to get everything you need. If you want more than they offer, you can go to Parker, 45 minutes north up 95. They've got Walmart and everything. You can go 20 miles west to Blythe. They've got an Albertsons and another grocery store there. They've got stuff there also. Or you can go an hour and a half to Buckeye, go east on the 10 all the way to Buckeye, and then they've got everything. Costco, Lowe's, Walmart, every single restaurant you can imagine. But that's an hour and a half away. Just saying. Everything's around here. It's a fun situation. So come on down to Quartzsite. If you guys have other questions, leave them in the comments if I've forgotten to answer some of your camping questions about Quartzsite. And I'll tell you about other places that are absolutely free and scenic and beautiful and remote, and you don't have people around you. You drive farther. You know, you have to drive farther. My favorite is Kofa. We'll talk about Kofa later. That's 18 miles south. You can get to the Kofa National Wildlife Refuge. Absolutely beautiful. 14-day free camping, guys. All right. I'll just talk on and on. Let's not do that. You can go into California too. Uh-oh, he's talking on and on. We'll cover that in another episode. Thanks again for watching, you guys. Get outside, get some vitamin D, and get some exercise. Yeah, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And I got some stuff coming up, so stay with me. We're gonna cover different things. I don't want to talk about it right now because I have no brain. So until next time, everybody. God bless. Thanks again. Bye-bye now. Okay, well that was a fun tour, I hope. You think that was a fun tour, huh? We hit all 5 of the free camping areas around Quartzsite. And hopefully I gave you a little look at what you get. These are all free, 14-day. They will have a host eventually, but then maybe not. You just don't know. Right now, no host. So if you're coming for the first time, that was the whole point of that. If you've been to Quartzsite before, you already know the drill. Probably no new information for you there. But we've covered the LTVA, the 4 of them that are here in the Quartzsite area, not the 3 that are not. No Yuma, no California. There's other LTVAs. That's not not this video. This is the free camping, and there's free camping everywhere. But those 5 areas are what everybody talks about. When people say, I'm going to stay at Roadrunner, we went there, you know what they're talking about. If they say, I'm staying at High Jolly, you know now where that is, how to get there. They're all easy to get to, all easy to find. So I hope that helped you guys. I'm back at camp. It's, you know, it's still too hot. Be glad you're not here. I mean, I'm glad I'm here. It's a wonderful deal, but for me, it's still too warm. I think 91 again today, 91 tomorrow. I think 2 weeks from now, if you wait till about mid-November to come on out or later, you're going to be fine. Then you'll be complaining about how cold it is in January, probably. I won't. I love the cold. I like the bright, warm sun and the air to be about 50 degrees. That's what I like. Anyway, you guys, I'm cooking a burger. Yeah, let's check this out. Not to change the subject from... you know, from where to stay for free. I've got my smoker out. I got the burger on here. Let's take a look with sun on the burger. Looking pretty good. Got to flip it again. We're getting close. I think I'd like to have some wine. Maybe it's late in the afternoon. Sun's starting to go down. I'm going to have a little red wine with my burger, perhaps. Let's go in. Oh yeah, I forgot to call housekeeping today. Sorry, but I got to get some things out of the fridge. Hey, yeah, we haven't looked at the ICO in a while. Remember my ICO review not too long ago, the ICO APL 35? I never showed you guys because I got sick, got all messed up. I didn't show you the cover. I kept promising I was going to get a cover, made a big deal about the covers. I'm the guy that says we all should have a cover. Well, there it is. There's the cover. I finally got the cover on it. Let's look at it. Let's see what happens. So, sorry, we're in real close quarters. I was just going to grab some wine, and now it's turned into an infomercial. All right, ICO cover. Look at this thing. It's all reflective. Isn't that beautiful? Velcro, reflective. So I just flip this up like this, and we're going to unlatch. We're going to unlatch, and bingo, we're in. I love it. Here's my ice pack for my arm, for my neuropathy that'll never go away. And then I just got stuff. What? Cheese? Oh, we're going to need the cheese for the burger. Let's get that out here. What have I got going on here? A little bit of everything. Yeah, I've got some butter. Don't need any eggs. Ooh, look, a bun. Individually wrapped buns. What a brilliant fellow he is. Oh, that's me. Avocado would be fun. Yeah, let's kill that avocado. Let's put that on the burger too. What else we got in here? In the ICO APL 35. So nice to have a freezer. The burger was in there, of course. I've got blueberries. I've got sausage. I got more burgers. Love this thing. All right, let's go deep. What do we got here? Chardonnay. No, I was thinking red. Look at this black box Merlot. Only the finest. And you're noticing I've chilled it. Yeah, I certainly don't want 91 degree wine. Look at here. Yeah, in fact, it's 93 outside and 88 inside. Whew, I better get a sweater on. Getting cold. All right, what else we got? Beer, yogurt, peanut butter. Nice, all kinds of fun stuff. Have I got enough stuff? Yeah. So we close it up. Look how easy this is. I flip it. I get lazy. I just do the one latch, and then because I've got this beautiful cover, I just do that. Insulated, yeah. ICO, beautiful cover. You know, ventilation. We got pockets. It protects it from scratches and dents, but it really helps save this compressor because that's extra insulation. Look at that. Reflective. It's got some thickness in there. This is just a really nicely made cover, I got to tell you guys. Very impressed, very impressed. If you're on a super tight budget, make one out of Reflectix and duct tape. But that's a nice cover. Thank you, ICO. Now, all of my ICOs, my APL 35 that you see here, I hated the cover. It's such a beautiful fridge. My JP 40 that's sitting in the back of the truck, that's got a cover on it. And wait, there's more. And my my ICO Go 20, of course, has a cover on it. They just, I think it's an essential part of it. If you never ever camp in warm climate, if you're always camping in the cold, then the extra insulation isn't really needed. You know, your fridge is not working very hard to keep your food cold because the air around it is already cold. But when you're in the heat, like I am, when it's hot, 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 like right now, 88 in here, 88. God, so the fridge is fighting the heat all the time? Well, then I'm saying get the cover. Don't even think about it. You can thank me later. All right. I forgot that I hadn't shown you guys the cover. I'm glad I went. Now I feel like I forgot my wine. I am such a bubblehead. Oh, all right. Wow. Got the apron on, my insurance policy. Look at that, huh? Can you guys check out that burger? Yeah, cheeseburger with goat cheese from, I don't know, Finland, Holland, I don't know. And avocado, right? Look at that bad boy. Yeah, that's good stuff. Hang on. Apron's also got pockets. All right, here's to you guys. Thanks for coming with me on that long drive, that 5 campground tour. All right, I'm gonna eat this, but I'm not comfortable with all of you staring at me. Yeah, don't look.